Today we're doing section 6.1, Law of Signs, day 2. So today we're going to talk about the ambiguous case, and that means we're talking specifically about triangles that are side-side angle. And when we are dealing with triangles that are side-side angle, there's 3 possible scenarios, and that there's, based on the information, you could get the result of no triangle formed, exactly 1 triangle formed, or you could get 2 triangles formed. So today we're going to focus on no triangle formed and 2 triangles formed. And then for board work tomorrow, we'll try some 1 triangle formed. So based on the information, here it says solve the side-side angle triangle. Notice the information that's given to us is an angle and 2 sides. So the information that I'm missing is angle B and angle C. And I also do not know side C. Those are the 3 calculations we need. To start this problem, again, we start with the idea of having a pair, and I have a pair of information. So I'm going to say 51 over sine of 75 is equal to 71 over sine of B. So yesterday, the missing information was always the side lengths. Now the missing information is the angle. But the way we solve is still the same. We still cross multiply. So I'll get 51 sine of B equals 71 sine of 75. I'm going to come up here. To get B by itself, my first step is to divide by 51. So we're going to type this in our calculator. I'll have sine of B equals, and we got to type all this in the calculator to figure out. We're going to do 3 decimal places so that everyone's consistent. So I get negative 0.540. And then to get rid of sine, I need to take the inverse of sine. So angle B will be the inverse of sine, and then that's negative 0.540. Now, when you type this in the calculator, you're going to notice that you get an error. So there is no angle B, which means this whole scenario is no triangle formed. So for the next example, here is the information that is given. And notice I'm missing angle B, angle C, and little side C. So again, we're going to kind of start this problem off the same way. And I'm going to do 54 over sine of 40 is equal to 62 divided by sine of B. And we're going to cross multiply. So I'll get 54 sine of B equals 62 sine of 40. And then we would divide both sides by 54. So now I have sine of B equals, and again, we'll type this in the calculator and round to 3 decimal places. So this equals 0.856. And then to get angle B by itself, we'll take the inverse of this. So angle B is going to equal the inverse of 0.856. Alright, so I actually had a mistake right here. This should be 0.738. And when I take the inverse of it, we get 48 degrees. So I know angle B is 48 degrees. Now, to check for a second triangle, so the 3 calculations that I don't know were B, C, and little c. So over here, we're going to write off to the side that I could potentially have to find a second B, a second C, and then a second side C. And we put primes there to differentiate them. What stays the same is that A is 40 degrees, little a is still 54, and little b is still 62. So what we do is whatever angle I find first, which is 48, I would do 180 minus this 48, which is 132. And now we have to find the missing side C's respectively. So if I go back to the original side C, if I add 40 and 48 up, I would get 88. So angle C would have to be 92 degrees. Now we go to the second scenario. So 40 plus 132 is 172, which means I have 8 degrees left over. So I know for sure there is a definite second triangle. So now the last thing I need to calculate is the missing side C for both triangles respectively. So I'm going to erase all this work down here so I can stay on one screen. Okay, so notice that what stays the same is that the A's are still the same. So I'm still going to use this whole 54 over sine of 40. And let's work with C first. So we'll find C over sine of 92. To solve for C, I cross multiply. So I get C sine of 40 equals 54 sine of 92. And then I would divide both sides by sine of 40 to find our C. So when I type this all in the calculator, so little side C is 84. Okay, so now I need to do this calculation essentially all over again, but now I need to use the new angle C. So for the second triangle, I still have 54 and sine of 40 together. I still don't know side C for the second triangle, but I know that its matching angle is 8 degrees. So I still cross multiply. I get C sine of 40 equals 54 sine of 8. And then we divide both sides by sine of 40 degrees. So the C for the second triangle will be 11.7 for that third side. So it's essentially the same thing that we did yesterday. It's just now that you have to do 2 whole triangles within one single problem. So we will do some practice on this and help clarify any questions that you have.